Hey everybody, Rosematter here. Welcome to part 15 of my Steins Gate Let's Play. In the last episode, we are seeking Faris out to try and get her to change her D-mail that she sent. That changed, the timeline. The problem is that Faris doesn't know what the D-mail is, but she tricked Okabe into letting her use the time machine so she could go back in time and win the Rainet tournament. She's like, well, maybe then I'll remember, but whether that's the case, still to be seen. I know it's got something to do with her dad, obviously. She changed the past, to probably, have her father be alive. But we're going to get into it, and we're going to see if she can figure out what this D-mail is, and go from there, so let's get into it. I suddenly feel intense stares on us. I realize that we're surrounded by people. Are they jealous Faris fans who think I'm her boyfriend? I shudder at the thought, but I don't think that's the case. Then who are they? Mocha's rounders?
Yeah.
A man clad in black steps forward. Oh, it's the bald spot guy again. What does he want now? I realize that the men surrounding us are all dressed like 4C. So are all of these guys viral attacker underlings? 4C's gaudy white teeth shine.
チャンピオンに言いたいことがある。ガイアが俺に物言いをつけろと囁くのさ。
物言い？
このメス猫がよ。さっきの相手の心を読めるって力。一体どんなイカ様を使ってやがるんだ。
イカ様などのはずがない。貴様らこそ姑息な真似をしていたではないか。
フェイリスはあなたたちみたいな卑怯なことはしないにゃ。
だとてめえ。この黒の貴公子である俺は伊達悪界の神に誓ってイカ様なんかしねえ。それ以外の方法はどうかわかんねえけどな。いいか、汚れた白きシャム猫。俺は負けを認めねえ。最後のチェンジディレクトリだってイカ様だ。
証拠がないのに適当なことを。
知らねえと思うから教えてやるぜ。この俺が黒といえば黒。それがライネットの真理なのさ。
These guys came here to make completely false accusations. It doesn't look like they'll take no for an answer. And they've surrounded us so we can't escape.
ところでてめえの父親は秋葉原界隈じゃ知らねえ者はいないほどの男なんだってな。で、ライネット AB グラちゃんはそのコネを使ってスタッフ全員がフェイリスを勝たせるように動いている。ライネッターの間じゃそういう噂もあるんだぜ。大した悪党だな。てめえはちっとも伊達悪じゃねえ。白きシャム猫でもねえ。泥水の中を這い回る声太った豚さ。
The crowd grows louder. Beyond the wall of viral henchmen, there are some homebound Rainet spectators watching from a distance. The virals start jeering loudly.
マジかよ。あまりにもうまくいきすぎだとはうすうす思っていたけど、つまりやらせ出来レースだったってことかよ。
最低だよな、あの猫女。
フェイリスってそういう人間だったんだな。汚い、実に汚い。
というわけでよ、チャンピオン、いや偽チャンピオンのフェイリス、ここで土下座してくれよ。この黒き明星である俺シドの前で額を地面にこすりつけて許しをこいな。そして王座を返還しやがれ。そこまでしたらやらせ行為については明星に誓って許してやるよ。
そうだそうだ、優勝を辞退しろ。てか二度とライネットアクセスバトラーズに関わるな。ライネッターを引退しろブス。
Jeers fly from the surrounding virals. None of the onlookers approach. I guess they don't want to get involved. What a farce. How long do we have to listen to this?
行くぞ、フェイリス。
I grab Faris's wrist and force our way through the surrounding virals. As we run from the place, I look back and see
待ちやがれ。
4C and his group are chasing after us. Well, I mean, They can't be worse than the rounders, so I was like, this is child's play in comparison. Oh my god, Daru. Can I really answer the phone right now? Seems an inopportune time, but let's do it. Maybe he can help us out.
僕だけど。
なんだ今取り込み中だから。
オカリンってまだ会場にいる？
Maybe he can meet up with us and help us out somehow? I don't know. I don't know what Daru could
フェリスさん
do.
は見てないよな。実は炎上中で。
Everything's on fire.
炎上？何が？
フェリスさんのブログとか、
Oh.
フェリスさんのファンサイトとかが。
Damn, the viral attackers must be flooding the net with false accusations. And just those footsteps in the background are kind of getting on my nerves. Those scumbags.
切るぞ。
It just sounds like people are just like doing tap dancing in the background. I press the end call button and run even faster.
今日まだあいつら追ってくるにゃ。
Keep running, just keep running. While gasping for oxygen, I pull Faris by the hand and run faster. We zigzag through the streets of Akiba until we loop back to UPX. Ferris's home is right next door. We should have gone there first. Yeah, we don't want them to know where she lives, right? My lungs are on fire. My legs are aching. It's too bad.
あれ見るにゃ。
It's too bad that every time because he does a lot of running in this game. It's too bad that every time he goes back in time, he doesn't retain some of that, physical activity, because maybe his stamina would be pretty good by now. Faris tugs at my sleeve, stopping me. I look at where she's pointing, and there I see several unsavory-looking young men clad in black leather loitering near the apartment building's entrance. Damn, they got here first.
これじゃ中に入るのは無理そうにゃ。
とにかく離れよ
We try to cut through Yodobashi and head to Showadori, but get caught en route.
う。いやがったぞ。
メーリングリストで情報を流せ。
Damn, how many of them are there? All we can do is turn back. We won't make any progress if we keep running like this. We need to find somewhere we can rest. The lab. We can manage something if we escape there. We need to get there somehow. Once again, do you want these guys, do you want to take them back to the lab where you live? Maybe not a good idea. But there are virals loitering around the lab. There's no way we can get past them. We end up seeking refuge in the ramen shop behind the lab. The ramen shop behind the lab. On another world line, this was May Queen, where Faris and Mayuri worked as maids.
どうしてこんなところで立ち止まるにゃ。早く逃げなきゃ。
May Queen's second floor now seems to be the storehouse for the ramen shop downstairs. Actually, that might be the perfect place to hide. I take Faris's hand and run up the stairs. In the empty room are piles of what seem to be bags of flour. Faris and I hide behind one such pile. I just hope nobody saw us come in.
とにかくここで奴らが諦めるのを待とう。
I take out my phone and open the composed mail screen. I send Daru an SOS. Help, Faris and I are hiding above Ramen Saburo. Or Tasaburo. It's mostly empty with some sacks of wheat flour. Nothing that looks useful as a weapon, and nothing big enough to hide behind. The viral attackers are chasing us, and I don't think they can be reasoned with. Normally, I'd have no trouble taking on all of them, but I can't use my full strength with Faris nearby. Of course he has to throw that in there, right? Call us a taxi, pronto. I send the email. It's hot as hell in here. The running has made me thirsty.
ここにメイクインがあれば冷房も効いていて飲み物も出してもらえるのにな。
にゃ。
いや
I just said the first thing that came to mind, but Ferris looks at me strangely. Maybe she does sort of remember something. Maybe. Maybe she's got some special power.
なんで京馬はここに開く予定だったメイド喫茶の名前を知ってるにゃ。でもそっか、ホームページに少しの間だけオープン告知とメイドさん募集要項を載せたことあったにゃ。京馬、それを見たのかにゃ。
開く予定だったのか。
フェイリスが企画して会議にも通してほとんど決まりかけてた話なのにゃ。でも最終的にパパにダメって言われて企画がなくなっちゃったにゃ。はあ、パパもとんだわからずやだにゃ。フェイリスに店を任せてくれてれば、はにゃーんなコスチュームとキュンキューンなメイドさんたちを集めて日本一のメイド喫茶になってたのにゃ。中野や池袋のお客さんを秋葉に引っ張ってこられたのに、惜しいことをしたのにゃ。
The Akihabara I know catered to fans of games, anime, and moe culture. The current Akihabara is still the electric town of old. This used to be the maid cafe May Queen, but now it's a ramen shop. And if I remember correctly, Faris wasn't this attached to Rainet Rainet access battlers on the previous world line.
フェイリス。いや、秋葉ルミホ。
はにゃ。
お前は秋葉の後継ぎ娘で、秋葉原の都市開発計画の会議なんかにも出ているんだよな。
Maybe he's gonna make that connection. He's gonna have an idea of what she sent as an email.
にゃ、出てないにゃ。
出てない。だって前にそう言って。
Did she say that before the world line changed?
会議にはパパが出てるにゃ。
Yeah, I think he's gonna
なの
make.
になんでフェイリスが出なきゃいけないのにゃ。
He's gonna figure something to do with her dad.
逆になんでお前は会議に出ていたんだ。
だから出てないって言ってるにゃ。
That's right. It makes no sense for a high school girl to participate in development conferences, much less be the mastermind behind the moeification of Akiba. Moe shops began to spring up around 2002, didn't they? Back then, Ferris was still 9 years old. Could this be a clue to the contents of Ferris's D-mail?
フェイリスのパパさんはレトロ PC の愛好家なんだよな。
その通りにゃ。あ、そういえばまだ IBN5100 は見つけてないにゃ。
ちなみにパパさんがレトロ PC を手放すようなことってあるのか。
On another world line, Ferris's dad donated the IBN 5100 to Yanabayashi Shrine. Or was it Faris who did that?
それはないにゃ。パパは自分が集めた PC はすべて愛してるにゃ。それを手放すなんてとんでもないのにゃ。
So it must have been Faris. Once the dad died, maybe she wanted to get rid of them so that she wouldn't have, maybe like memory of the dad. Just so she'd be like, I need to get out of here because it reminds me of my dad. Then why did he donate the IBN 5100?
フェイリスはレトロ PC は持っていないのか。
パパの趣味はさっぱりにゃ。フェイリスはコスプレとかアニメとか可愛いものが好きなのにゃ。
The reason the moe shops disappeared was because Faris didn't participate in the city development conferences. I guess that's what the D-mail was about.
もし仮にお前が都市開発計画に子供の頃からずっと参加していたとして。
そうしたら秋葉の町に萌えショップをたくさん誘致しようと思ってるにゃ。コミマを見ればわかる通りオタクパワーはすごいのにゃ。きっと秋葉は今以上に人がたくさん訪れるはずにゃ。
それはいいとして、都市開発計画にずっと参加していたお前がもしもう参加したくないと思ったとして、それを過去の自分にどうやってやめさせると思う。
それは何の心理テストにゃ。
単なる例え話だ。
Faris ponders this for a while.
劇的なのがいいにゃ。
何？
ドラマみたいな展開にゃ。フェイリスはそういうのは結構信じちゃうタイプにゃ。これはきっとパパからの遺伝だと思うにゃ。
Really?
だから例えばフェイリスが誘拐されるとか。
Suddenly, Faris falls silent. It's a dark room. I can't read her expression.
ゆっ
Oh, she remembers?
フェイリス
What's wrong? Faris suddenly clutches her head. Oh my gosh, she maybe does? I mean, she could be playing, but I don't know.
頭痛いにゃ。
Reading
ねえ
Steiner.
今日フェイリスはこの倉庫に来てから変な気分なのにゃ。小さい頃に一度来たことあるだけなのに。
She remembers something from the past world line.
すごく見慣れてる景色に思えてくるにゃ。ここいつも歩き回ってたような感覚があるにゃ。
What does this mean? Is she messing with me again? No, this feels too real. Her face lights up, and then she grabs my arm.
思い出したにゃ。
何を
思い出したにゃ。
The force of her declaration stifles my response.
メイクインにゃんにゃ。京馬もダルニャンも常連さんだったにゃ。それにマユシーは一緒に働いてたにゃ。
That's amazing. Like, what is it about her and Okabe where they have this power?
本当に思い出したのか
I mean, for her it makes sense. She's got the pink hair. She's like a main character in a visual novel. Of course, she has special powers. Faris nods.
京馬たちがお店でタイムマシンのお話ししてたことも IBN5100 を探す交換条件としてタイムマシンを使いたいってお願いしたことも、あとは時間を川の流れに例えるのおかしいって京馬とダルニャンを論破したこととか、
Wow, she remembers a lot. Actually, a lot of specific stuff.
ラボメンになるために血の盟約を結んだこととか。
I'd almost forgotten those things myself.
D メールは D メールの内容は思い出したのか
We're so close. Faris lets out a sigh. Her smile suddenly disappears. Or she remembers, but she knows what it's gonna mean if I don't have her send the email. Don't tell me that's all she remembers. Or was she tricking me again?
思い出したけど、
Yep.
これは取り消さなきゃいけないって
Because
京馬言ったかにゃ。
she's gonna lose her dad. She's probably not gonna tell me.
そうだフェイリスの D メールによって改変された過去を元に戻してやらないと
Faris shakes her head violently and presses her body against me again. We're alone in this dim storehouse. I can feel her hot breath against my cheek. Yeah, just don't get all weird like you did with Suzuha, please. No bad thoughts, please. There's no one here to see us. We're safe. I feel myself getting excited by her proximity. No, no. No, I need to keep my cool.
元に戻すなんてできないにゃ。
聞いてくれフェイリスこれにはマユリの命がかかってるんだ
マユシーの
世界線のズレを元に戻して俺が IBN5100 を手に入れないとマユリが死ぬバカみたいに聞こえるかもしれないけどそれが事実なんだだから頼む以前送った D メールを取り消すためにもう一度 D メールを
フェイリスが D メールで叶えた願いは。
Faris cuts in as if to silence me. Her eyes are wet, reflecting the dim light.
フェイリスが叶えたのは10年前に死んだパパを生き返らせることにゃ。
What?
もっと簡単に言うと、パパが死んだ過去を死なないように変えたのにゃ。
You mean that kind-looking man, her father, died 10 years ago? That's consistent with everything now that I think about it. Faris really has remembered her D-mail. Now that I know the result, all I have to do is send the cancellation D-mail. Well, doesn't he need specifics about it? Or I guess, like, don't let Faris send the D-mail? Because that was it. Like, he let Faris do it. But it's not so simple. I need to cancel the D-mail that prevented her father's death 10 years ago. Oh, I see. So yeah, he's got to find out specifically what caused the death so that it can happen. Isn't that the same as killing him again? Uh-oh. I hear the door open and quickly cover Ferris's mouth with my hand.
本当にこんなところにフェイリスが隠れてるのか
それらしい二人組が入ってくのが見えたんだよ。
Crap. Someone saw us? We need to do something. If they call their friends, we're done for. Uh-oh.
どこだ。やっぱここにいたな、フェイリス。
I wonder what would have happened if I hadn't answered the phone. I would have kept ringing either way. It would have been bad.
もしもし。
岡部、聞こえる？タクシーは呼んだけど、もうちょっとだけ時間がかかる。
Kurisu.
追っ手にバレた。目の前にいる。
おい、出てこい。隠れても無駄だぞ、俺。
そう。それなら脱出方法をレクチャーする。場所はさっきのところから移動してないんだよな。
The men are approaching our hiding spot, but because the room is dark, it seems they can't tell where we are. I listen carefully to Kurisu's voice.
その部屋にある小麦粉をばらまいて脱出しろ。OK？
Scatter the flour?
あとは照明をスイッチオン。
Now I get it.
了解した。オーバー。
Then I see the light reflect off of something. One of the men has a butterfly knife. He opens the blade with a flourish. I quickly rip open a nearby wheat flour sack and toss its contents into the air. The scattered white powder shines in the sunlight through the window. Oh, so and it's going to blind them when he turns the light on.
なんも見えねえ。
Slipping past the disoriented men, I carry Faris towards the exit. Right next to the exit, I see the light switch. I push Faris out first, then flip the switch right before shutting the door. Right as we get out, a sound like firecrackers resounds from the other side of the door. A dust explosion. I've seen the same trick used by guys like MacDiver and Master Cheatin'. A popular Japanese comic that ran from 1988 to 1994 follows the activities of the titular protagonist, who is an archaeologist, a survival instructor, and an insurance investigator. I'm a little confused by how that worked, like how the light made the flower go set off? Huh. That should distract them long enough for us to see. I thought it was more to blind them, but... Ferris coughs, shaking wheat flour off her clothes and hair. But there's no time to spare. The taxi still isn't here. But it's not like we can wait for it. Now see, if they had Uber back then, it would have been here in like 2 minutes, no problem. We need to leave here now. However...
そうはいかねえぞ。
Of
取り
course.
囲んじまえ。
Crap. We were headed for the lab but got ambushed. Soon, Ferris and I are surrounded by men with the fires of hatred burning in their eyes.
いや、もう逃げられないぜ。
The crowd parts down the middle and 4C steps forward wearing a hat.
一つ教えてやる。てめえらは俺のヤバすぎる黒のオーラの前から逃れられねえ。
I say, just knock that hat off and expose the bald spot. That's like his weak spot. And then he's going to be scrambling. People are going to be like looking at his bald spot and we can escape. I shield Ferris with my body. 4C cracks his knuckles and smiles.
俺はいつだって体制に逆らってきた。今回は俺のダテ悪ストーリーは完全勝利で終わるのさ。
よせ。この俺に手を出すな。
The only thing I can do to stop faltering is to go into Hoyin Kyoma mode.
このままだと俺の右腕が暴走を。
シーンの最前線に立つのは常に一人。その一人とは黒い羽を羽ばたかせたクジャク。
It's like you got, what's the term? Chunbyo? Chunbios? You got like the two of them facing off and they're like the same. They're like, they think that they're like anime protagonists. Amazing. Now who's the bigger one?
俺の右腕。ダメだ。封印が解かれてしまう。お前たち、早く逃げろ。
I could just imagine just like spectators,
本当に命を落とすぞ。
just like bystanders being like, alright, these guys are weird.
クレイジーな舞でてめえをエレガントに沈めてやるぜ。 漆黒に選ばれるのはこの俺だ。
ダメだ。右手が。
This is amazing.
こいつ一体何なんだ。
Something strikes the top of my head. One of the virals threw a can at me.
シード騙されんな。そいつは典型的な中二病なだけだ。
いや、お前らが言うな。
Yeah, exactly, right?
構わねえから叩っちまおうぜ。
そこまで言うなら覚悟しろ。俺は右腕の封印を。
Before I can finish, 4C kicks me in the shoulder, the solar plexus. He grabs the top of my head and knees me repeatedly. Finally, he lets go of my hair. I start coughing as soon as I hit the ground. Next, 4C lays into me with heavy kicks to the head and body. I raise my arms to protect my face.
言ったろ、俺に触れるなってな。冷たさ。
だからそれはやけどではなく凍傷だ。バカが。
こんな。
He starts stomping on me with his booted heels. All I can feel is pain. I abandon all thought and wait for the storm to pass.
うるせえ。指図するなよ。俺に指図できるのはガイアのささやきだけだぜ。
4C grabs my thumb in both hands, then he starts to twist. Ooh, ouch. Nope. Is that the taxi? I hear a sound. A car's exhaust. The honking of a horn. A limousine barrels into the alleyway. Terrific. Okay, it's definitely not the taxi. Everyone screams and scatters to avoid it. The smell of burnt rubber. Tire tracks on the asphalt. The limousine stops right in front of my fallen body. The back door opens.
乗りなさい。
But I can't even stand up. There's no strength in my body left. My vision's blurry too. Slender arms wrap around my body, pulling me towards the car. The soft scent of citrus tickles my nose. I let her help me into the limousine.
くそ。
待て。
The door shuts, cutting off his shouting. The car speeds off like a bullet. There's a softness under my head. We're inside the limousine. My head is resting on Ferris's lap. Every inch of my body feels like it's on fire. And at the same time, there's a terrible cold in my bones. I can barely hear. My ears are ringing. The urge to vomit has receded at least. They really messed me up. According to Ferris's dad, he was racing to UPX to congratulate Faris when he saw us. A fortunate coincidence indeed. Is this also the choice of Steins Gate?
君にはお礼を言わねばならないね、岡部君。娘を守ってくれてありがとう。
守るだなんて。そんな。
I'm no hero. If I had the strength, I would prostrate myself right now before this man.
何もできませんでしたよ。俺は。全く情けないです。
とんでもない。君は娘の命の恩人だよ。
He shakes my hand firmly in gratitude. Oh, now he's gonna have to make the decision. Like, her dad's so nice, and he's gonna be like, I'm gonna have to basically kill this guy to save Mayuri. I have to exchange one life for another.
パパったら大事なお仕事があるんだから無理しなくていいって言ったのににゃ。
Faris looks happy as she says that. However, I recall what Faris told me in the ramen shop.
フェイリスが叶えたのは10年前に死んだパパを生き返らせることにゃ。
If that's true, then to return to the original world line, I have to erase her father. to kill him, essentially.
私はルミホとの約束は何があっても守るよ。昔そう決めたんだからね。
パパ、ありがとにゃ。
The limousine soon reaches Ferris's home. Maybe let's take me to the hospital?
おお、IBN5100 か。
God, his eyes are so creepy. Like, he's a nice guy, but oh, he's got creepy villain eyes.
そうです。あなたは熱心なレトロ PC 収集家とかねてより聞いていました。
I end up eating dinner at Ferris's apartment. Ferris's father was extremely grateful to me and invited me up. Once again, maybe a hospital. Maybe that might be a better idea. I would have been okay with just borrowing the shower, but he even prepared a change of clothes for me. And he even told me I could stay since it's still too dangerous to go outside. During the meal, I try asking about the IBN 5100, ignoring the pain I still feel throughout my body.
君のような若者が IBN5100 を知っているとは珍しいね。
He smiles when I bring up his hobby of collecting old PCs.
確かに私も持っていたよ。今は手放してしまったが。
手放した？
ああ、やむにやまれぬ事情でね。
He glances at his daughter. Faris keeps eating her meal silently.
柳林神社に奉納したのですか？
奉納？いや、違うよ。
No? All the strength drains from my body. Were my efforts for nothing?
私に IBN5100 を託してくれた橋田さんには申し訳ないことをしてしまったと思っている。
Hashida-san.
橋田って
Oh!
橋田鈴ですか？
Oh, shit! I was like, I know that name. Ferris's dad nods. Suzuha's pseudonym. My pulse rises instantly upon hearing that name. She did it. She found an IBN 5100. She brought it to Akiba. She completed her mission. Tears well up in my eyes. I bite them back.
昔の話になるがね。まだ私の会社が今ほど大きくない頃の話だ。ルミホが誘拐されたんだ。犯人はとんでもない額の身代金を要求してきてね。あるいは会社を抵当に入れればなんとかなったかもしれない。そんな時、渡りに船とばかりに IBN5100 を高額で買い取りたいという人物が現れてね。それを売り渡すことでルミホを助けるための身代金を用意することができたんだよ。
Oh my gosh. So that's it. That's why oh my gosh. It's just like all coming together. So it's like because... Oh, I'm wondering what happened. So what did he die from? If, no, I can't wait to find out.
パパ、その話はやめるにゃ。
For some reason, Ferris's face turns red with embarrassment. If I had to say, her dad seems really happy to tell the story. Not something you'd expect from a kidnapping story.
その歌相手というのは？
フランスの実業家だね。今でも連絡は取れると思う。なんだったら教えようか。
Oh, but that sucks. It's like Suzuha gave that to him so that we could have it, but then he ended up selling it because of the kidnapping. So if he dies before the kidnapping ever happens, and that's why Faris has the IBN 5100, and that's why she donated, probably because she said like she's not really interested in PCs. Although I think in the Otherworld line she did say she was interested in PCs, but maybe she's just trying to like, you know, take on her dad's hobby as a way to like kind of like keep his memory alive. I politely decline the offer. There's no way the IBN 5100 will arrive from France in time, and I doubt we could afford to pay for it anyway. Plus, there's a high possibility the buyer is related to SERN or to the Rounders. I clench my fist, then open it again. Why won't you return to me, IBN 5100? It's well past midnight and I'm still awake. My body hurts too much to sleep, and then there's the question eating at my mind. What should I do? How can I cancel the D-mail that saved Ferris's father? My encounter with the man himself has given birth to unnecessary internal conflict. I'm about to steal Ferris's father away from her. I need to do it to save Mayuri. But does that give me the right to play God? I hear a knock and then the door opens.
今日も
フェイリスか。まだ寝てなかったのか。
入っていい？
Normally, Ferris would have added nya to the end of that question. Without waiting for my answer, Ferris steps inside. Then she sits next to me on the bed. She's not wearing her cat ears. That's how you know she's serious.
さっきはありがとう。バイラル一味に追いかけられた時、私すごく怖かった。
Yep, she's not going nya to anything. Yep, she's in serious mode. Does she have a fever or something? Why is she talking normally? She usually pretends to be a cat girl. Does this mean she's not using her Ferris persona right now? Is this the real Akiha Rumiho? It's actually refreshing to hear Ferris talk normally like this. It excites me for some reason, like she's showing me a side of herself that no one has ever seen.
初めてだったよ。大勢の人たちからあんな黒い感情をぶつけられたこと。
黒にやたらこだわる連中だったからな。
She slaps me on the knee lightly.
もう真面目に話してるのに。
What? Even her retort is normal. The person sitting in front of me isn't a cat-eared maid, and she isn't the Rainet champion. She's just a normal girl.
傷痛む？
いや、大丈夫だ。
今日の岡部さんがいなかったらどうなっていたか想像するだけでゾッとする。
言い直すな。いつも通りの呼び方でいい。
Faris sighs.
とにかく京馬には感謝してもしきれない。本当にありがとう。
I wonder if she's gonna say, I'll tell you what the email was so that you can choose what to do for saving me. And this is probably where I'm gonna get the Faris ending, is I gotta choose whether or not, you know, just like with Suzuha, whether or not to send that email.
京馬はね、私の王子様だよ。
And then her and I and her father can live happily, and I can live in this awesome apartment. Prince? What's with the fairy tale talk? She's giving me goosebumps. This calls for Hoyen Kiyoma.
俺は王子様ではない。狂気のマッドサイエンティストで。
She's like, I'm being serious. You should be too. Oh, hello. Before I finish, Faris throws herself on top of me. Oh, if Daru ever sees this, I am dead. She wraps her arms around me tightly.
フェイリス。
ルミホって呼んでほしいな。
いや、フェイリスはフェイリスだろ。
This is bad. What should I do? What does Faris want?
ねえ、もう終わりにしようと思うの。京馬はどうせ過去に戻ればまたやり直せるのに、私を命がけで助けてくれた。だから京馬の望むことを私も叶えてあげたいって思う。
だが。
I swallow the rest of my words. Granting my wish would mean erasing her father's existence. My heart aches. Okay, we're gonna save here, because I think I'm gonna be making a choice soon. It was like this with Suzuha, too. I erased everything that Suzuha had shared with us in 2010, including her memories of meeting her father. I did it for the sake of my personal goal, to save Mayuri. Must I once again sacrifice someone else's dream?
あれは私の8歳の誕生日の時。
Still clinging to me, Faris looks down and begins her story.
私はパパにその日だけはお仕事をお休みして一緒に遊びに行こうってお願いしてたんだ。当時はまだパパの会社は大きくなくて、パパは毎日朝から晩までずっと働き続けてたから、私はちっともパパに会えなかったの。パパと過ごせる一日が私が一番欲しかったプレゼントだった。パパは約束してくれたよ。その日は何があってもきっと一緒に過ごそうって。でもやっぱり急な仕事の予定が入って前日になって約束は破られちゃったの。 ひょっとしてパパは私のこと愛してくれてないんじゃないかってすごく不安になっちゃって。だからね、私誕生日当日に家出したの。パパに心配してもらいたくて。
Ferris pauses here for a time. Then she looks up at me and continues with tears in her eyes.
その日、パパの乗った飛行機が着陸に失敗したんだ。死者は一人だけで、他の乗客はみんな無事だったんだけどね。
Don't tell me.
その一人がパパだった。
Okay, this is so weird because without knowing anything, I knew he had died. But in my head, I thought plane crash for some reason. I thought either car accident or plane crash. Something to do with, a form of transportation killed him. That was before the world line changed. Yeah, how shitty is that one person died? Only one. I guess, just fate really had it in for him. Be like, nah, you're dying today.
信じられなかった。こんなにも世界は私に冷たい運命を押し付けるのかって。パパなんかもう知らない。死んじゃえばいいんだって。それがパパにかけた最後の言葉に。
Oh no, Faris. Do we have someone who can change fate just by saying things out loud? This is scary.
そんな言葉で
I know it's not true, but...
私とパパの関係は永遠に閉ざされちゃった。
But this is amazing. She can remember more than almost like Okabe can remember. I can hear the tears in her voice. And she's only gone back in time once.
どうして最後にあんなこと言っちゃったのかなってずっと心の中にパパへの罪悪感があって、ずっと思ってた。タイムマシンがあればいいのにって。
Then, did fate guide us to each other?
だからね、京馬がタイムマシンの話をしているときに、これは神様か仏様か運命様が私に与えてくれたチャンスなんだって思ったの。
フェイリス、ルミホ、今日はもう話さなくていい。
Way to guilt trip me, man. She's like, I'll let you change it, but first, listen to my really terrible backstory, and it's very tragic. Okay, so you can go ahead and kill my dad. Thanks.
最後まで言わせて。
Faris doesn't let go of me. She sniffles and wipes away her tears, putting on a smile.
私はもう満足したから。さっきパパが助けに来てくれて、私のこととっても大切に思ってくれてるって分かったから、このちょっとだけのご褒美はもう十分楽しいんだから。
And it's a good thing and a bad thing is that she's seemingly going to remember this too. It's good that she has that closure, but it's bad because she's gonna know that I took him away.
だから変えた過去は元に戻さなきゃ。
だが
今日マユシーはね、私にとっても友達なんだよ。そのマユシーに危機が迫ってるなら、私も京馬と同じようにする。
すまない。
言ったでしょ、今のこの現実は現実じゃなくてご褒美なの。それとも夢って言うべきかな。もともとパパはこの時代にはいなかった。元に戻すだけ。夢を見させてくれてありがとう、京馬。
本当にそれでいいんだな。
Faris buries her face into my chest.
本当はちっとも良くないよ。私世界が変わる前のこと 思い出したけど、でも世界が変わった後のことも全部覚えてるんだよ。私の記憶、今すごくパニック中なの。
I was gonna say, I was like, she's taking things very well, but I'm like, no, of course she wouldn't be completely okay with this, but she's trying to be mature about it.
変わる前と変わる後とがごちゃ混ぜになって、どっちが本当なのかわからなくなっちゃいそうで。でもこれ以上わがまま言ったら京馬が悲しむでしょ。京馬が悲しむ顔は見たくないから。だって私の王子様だもん。
だがもしかすればお前もパパさんを失わずマユリも死なない、そういう世界があるかもしれないんだ。それを探す努力をもっと。
いいの、もういいの。私はもう逃げたくないから。
There's nothing I can say to that. So instead, I tightly embrace her slender body.
ありがとう。
ねえ、ちょっとだけ泣いていいかな。過去を元に戻す前にパパのために泣いてもいいかな。
Aw, this is actually really sad. She's already crying, but I don't say anything. Instead, I silently nod. Ferris's body trembles with emotion as I hold her. Her father is sleeping in the room next door, so she probably doesn't want him to hear. She cries into my chest, muffling her sobs. It's almost noon. I feel dizzy. It's like my brain is rusty. My whole body is heavy with fatigue. The pain from my wounds have subsided, thankfully, but in the end I couldn't sleep a wink. I promised Faris we'd commence the operation at noon. Until then, we wait at Ferris's apartment. I've already contacted Daru and the others back at the lab. I told them we'd be performing an experiment today.
京馬、
フェイリス。
I can see the traces of tears on her face. The sight makes my heart ache.
今からパパに最後のご挨拶をしてくるにゃ。
Oh? Her usual speaking habits returned the second she donned her cat ears. What a nifty piece of equipment.
しばらくパパと二人きりにさせてもらうにゃ。
Maybe I should say wait. Maybe I should say sorry. But I say nothing to Ferris's back as she heads to her father's study. By the time Ferris finishes her farewell with her father and comes out of the study, the phone wave, name sub changes settings are already complete. I contact Daru at the lab and make sure the Braun Tube Workshop's 42-inch CRT is turned on. Alright, here's the choice. Now, all we have to do is send that email. Alright, now I'm gonna save. But I hesitate. Instead of meeting Ferris's eyes, I look down at my feet. Eternal separation from her father. I wonder what Ferris is thinking now. I can't stay sad when Ferris is trying to cheer me up. I steel myself for what I need to do. Yesterday, just before she left the room, Ferris told me the contents of the first email she sent. 100 mil for your kid. Take the train. That mail stopped your father from getting on the airplane. As a result, he didn't die. But that wasn't the only effect it had on the timeline. Oh, that was the kidnapping thing. Right, derp. So she wasn't actually kidnapped after all. Her father needed to sell the IBN 5100 to prepare the 100 million yen ransom. As a result, Faris never donated the IBN 5100 to Yanabayashi Shrine. I can't believe I didn't make that connection that the kidnapping was related to her running away and it never actually happened. Faris, you messed it all up, girl. With her father alive, Faris didn't participate in Akihaba's city development conferences. Otaku-oriented businesses never took root in Akiba. May Queen never opened. Faris wasn't as busy, which allowed her to join the Rainet tournament circuit. In other words, this world line's Faris had a normal life. On the world line I came from, Faris was not only a student, but also the heir to her father's company, an influential member of the Akihabara Development Board, and a part-time maid waitress. Which life is better for her? Which will give her the greater happiness? That's not my decision, it's hers. And her decision is to return to the way things were. I'm just here to help her wake up from this dream. Faris has already entered the cancellation D-mail. JK on ransom. I love you, Papa. See you soon. These are Faris's true last words to her father.
ちなみに、世界が元に戻ったら、フェイリスの今の記憶も全部なくなっちゃうのかにゃ。
そんなことはあるものか。きっと覚えてるさ。
So does that imply that anyone who sends the D-mail will remember? Does that mean Luca would remember with that D-mail that she sent? Does Luca remember that? Or is she just super special like that?
なぜならお前は今、過去を変える前と変えた後、両方の記憶を持っているだろう。
But then, like, Daru, I think Daru sent a D-mail, or Karisu sent a D-mail, although it didn't really change things, so there wouldn't be... I'm so confused about this. I'm assuming that these two just have their secret super special powers, but maybe it is just someone who sends a D-mail that actually changes the past in a big way. They retain some memories of that. I don't know.
だから、
But Karisu
あん
never
なに
remembers
必死にフェイ
anything.
リスを助けてくれたのかにゃ。
それは、
I feel my cheeks get warm, so I hang my head to hide my face.
フェイリスは、京馬との時間を忘れたくないにゃ。
ありがとう。
I take Ferris's phone. I'm sorry, Faris. I lied to you. Oh, okay. Let's save again. Damn it. I keep saving too early. Alright, so here's where I choose not to send the D-mail. When we change things back to the way they were, your memories of this world line will almost certainly disappear. Perhaps another miracle will happen and you'll regain your memories of this world line too. But I can't be sure. There are no guarantees. That little flashing thing is like, send the D-mail, send the D-mail. I'm like, no. I want Faris' secret ending. And so I will engrave these memories onto my heart. The memory of Faris, the Rainet champion. The memory of her father who gave thanks to a stranger like me for protecting her father. His daughter, whoops. I will carry them for you, always.
それじゃあ、バイバイ、パパ。
It must be done. For Mayuri's sake. I must erase Faris's memory just as I did Suzuha's. There's no other way. I give Faris back her phone.
京馬
No.
俺はまだ夢を終わらせたくはない。
He's like, I want my cat girl girlfriend. Don't jump to conclusions. We should explore other methods. After all, her father's life hangs in the balance.
別の方法を試してみよう。
Because that worked so well last time. That worked so well last time with Suzuha.
殺せないよ。
京馬、ごめんにゃ。フェイリスが迷わせちゃったにゃ。
いや、いいんだ。俺が決めたこと。
I don't have what it takes to be a god. That burden is too much for me. Yeah, we saw what happened the last time that he felt like he was a god. He was having some real dark thoughts, and I did not care for that, that Okabe. Faris's father is still at home, so we go to the UPX cafe to talk. Faris orders a sandwich.
それで、京馬には他に何か方法があるのかにゃ。
これは賭けになるが、フェイリスパパに送る D メールの内容を変更する。
じゃあ、フェイリスが最初に送った狂言の脅迫メールは取り消さないままなのかにゃ。
そういうことになる。IBN5100 が俺の手元に戻ってくれば勝ちなんだ。フェイリスパパが死ぬ必要なんてない。
Right as I say that, the employee comes to us with a sandwich and drinks. She looks startled.
ゲームの話です。
The employee forces a smile at my lame excuse and heads back inside. Oh boy. Is she around her? Does she know and now she's gonna come after us? I turn back to Faris.
だから例えば D メールの内容をこうすれば話は早いと思う。IBN5100 を岡部倫太郎に渡すまで。
I think 10 years is about the limit of how far back we can send D-mails. phone mail didn't become widespread until then. Lukako's mom's pagers was a special case, but even that was still limited to the 1990s. So I don't think we can do anything fancy like tell Ferris's dad to start stockpiling IBM 5100s in 1975.
でも、その時期のパパは会社が傾きかけててお金はなかったにゃ。フェイリスが誘拐されたと知ったら、パパは何を言われても IBN5100 を売っちゃう気がするのにゃ。
Ferris frowns and takes a bite of her egg sandwich.
それは書き方次第だろう。最初の D メールに関連させてしまえば、フェイリスパパも別の方法を取るはずだ。レトロ PC 収集家なら他にも売れる PC はたくさん持っていたんだろう。
そんなのは結局大した額にはならないのにゃ。IBN5100 だけは当時たまたま法外な値段で買ってくれる相手がいたっていうだけなのにゃ。
そこはお前にうまくやってもらうしかない。改めて言うが、これは賭けだ。
A bet to escape the responsibilities of a god.
改変によって世界線がどの程度動くのか、その結果改変された世界線がどんな世界なのか、それは俺にもわからない。もしかするとマユリもフェイリスパパも助からない世界になるかもしれないが、逆にどちらも助かる可能性もある。確信なんて俺にもないんだ。だがこのままじゃいけない。このままマユリを死なせることもフェイリスパパを死なせることも俺にはでき。
A gamble, all or nothing. Is Ferris alright with that? Two lives hang in the balance. I don't want to be making decisions that affect whether people live or die. But I can't think of any alternative.
京馬がそう決めたなら、フェイリスはそれでいいにゃ。
本当に
パパのこと助けようとしてくれてるんだって分かってるにゃ。だから感謝したいぐらいにゃ。京馬のこと本気で好きになっちゃいそうにゃ。
からかうな。
からかってなんてないにゃ。
Ferris pouts cutely.
京馬はフェイリスみたいな女は嫌いかにゃ。
She stares into my eyes, saying nothing.
さすがメイクインニャンニャンの人気ナンバーワンメイドだな。客への媚び方をよく心得ている。
そういう風にはぐらかす京馬は嫌いにゃ。
Now she makes a sad face and drops her shoulders. Don't tell me that was a real confession of love to me. Sure, Ferris is cute. I don't have as much trouble dealing with her as I used to. I could certainly get used to the idea of being with a girl like her. I am a man after all, and any man would be overjoyed to win the heart of a girl like Ferris. But this is no time for romance.
フェイリス、賭けに乗ってくれ。いい結果になると信じて。
フェイリスの質問には答えてくれないんだにゃ。しょぼーん。
Ferris looks a little sad, but after a deep breath, she smiles again.
京馬についていくにゃ。その D メール送ってみようにゃ。
We have our plan. Will the dice come up even or odd? Well, the thing is, like, we know with these alternate endings, they're not really going to end the way that we want them to. It's always going to be like not the timeline that we want. Not even God knows. I take Ferris with me to the lab, and Daru weeps tears of joy at her safety. Mayuri jumps on her with a hug. Kurisu keeps reading, her expression aloof. I tell the three of them I'll explain later, though I don't know if I'll get the opportunity since we're changing the past, and head with Ferris straight to the development room. Ferris has already written the D-mail. The root of the problem is her fake ransom demand, which caused her father to sell his IBM 5100. This is the second threatening email written to prevent that. Its time of arrival is 1 hour after the first email. I set the timer and exchange glances with Faris.
もう戻れないぞ。
世界線が変わっても京馬のこと覚えていられるといいにゃ。
Even that is no guarantee. This isn't like Suzuha's case where I returned the warped world line back to normal. We're warping it even more, I wouldn't be surprised if there were changes more drastic than the elimination of Moe from Akiba.
フェイリスが忘れてしまっても俺は覚えている。
今日も手を握ってほしいにゃ。
Just don't let Daru see. I take Ferris's hand, then activate the microwave.
いいぞフェイリス。
送信にゃん。
The warmth of Ferris's hand suddenly disappears from mine. I'm so curious of what happens here. The summer sun fills my distorted vision. Next comes the noise of Akiba, the voices of the crowd and the theme songs of electronic shops.
これは
Teleportation. I realize I'm standing on Churodori. Oh, I didn't even make that connection. Normally he stays in the lab. This is something different. I'm standing on Churodori right in front of Animate. Animate? The anime stuff? Oh, it didn't work. I scan the street.
萌え系ショップが復活している。
The world line must have changed. That's evident from the fact that reading Steiner kicked in. Faris, however, is nowhere to be seen. Even though we were standing right next to each other just a moment ago, hand in hand, she disappeared. Did her very existence disappear? No, that's absurd. I refuse to accept that. So did our plan work? Or are things even worse now? I need to explore this new world. Well, the fact that there are Moe stores tells me she's still alive in some capacity, I hope. I head to the Tanuji residence and find Nai there, home alone. I manage to convince her to let me in. The divergence meter is there as expected. What? Oh, it went down, so it went even further away. The first digit is blank. It now reads 0.275349%. Is it broken? Or is there a reason for the missing digit? Anyway, better make a note of this number on my phone. I'm wondering if that's what it means. Like if the number, because I think it was at like 0.4 something before, right? Or, I can't remember. When I checked the divergence meter after erasing our memories with Suzuha, the number was above 0.4. The current number is significantly lower now. But the bigger question is that missing first digit.
誰ですか？
Oh shit, she doesn't even know him.
うちに何の用ですか？
Nai peeks at me from behind the sliding door. She's acting even more afraid. Damn, girl! Like, you don't even know him and you let him in? No, that's bad. That's so bad. You let a strange man into your house. Like, if she knew him, that would be one thing. I don't want her to tattle on me to her dad. I'd better calm her down somehow.
いきなり押しかけて悪かったな。ちなみにこの家の場所はお前の親父さんに教えてもらったのだ。
That doesn't seem to ally her nervousness much, and she still hasn't come any closer.
誰ですか？もう出てってください。でないと警察を呼びます。それと私のお父さんはとっても強いです。
ん？
What's going on here?
誰ですかってひどいな。たまに会うだろ。
This timeline is going to end up with him in jail.
お前の親父さんの店の2階を借りてるだろ。忘れたのか？
お父さん、助けて。
いやいやいや、ちょっと待て。
Or dead. If he kills him. That's it. Dunzo. Can't go back and change the time again because Okabe's dead.
ひどいことしたら舌噛んで死にます。
いや、しないから。というより、本当に俺のことを覚えていないのか？
Nai shakes her head frantically.
会ったこともないと。
She nods.
それは悪かった。俺はお前の親父さんと知り合いでな。用は済んだからもう帰るよ。
My thoughts are a jumble, but I force a smile to hide my confusion and leave the Tenoji residence behind. So the divergence thing is still there, but I assume she said to give that to Okabe, right? Suzuha would tell Tenoji to do that, but something like this was bound to happen. It's a small comfort, but I knew the risk when I chose this path. Given that canceling the Suzuha D-mail only changed divergence by 0.0%, a change of 0.2% likely means a dramatic shift in the world line, at least from my perspective. It's entirely possible that past events on this world line, my relationships included, are very different from what I remember. As proof, with the sole exception of Faris, all contacts have disappeared from my phone. Oh, even Mayuri! That's nothing but pure horror to me. This is the worst timeline. To save Mayuri and Ferris's father, we warped the fabric of time even more than it had been warped already. To lose everyone other than Faris, that would be unbearable. That can't have happened. They can't have disappeared. I'm sure they still exist. My phone is just broken, is all. Yeah, that's probably it. I knew this might happen. I accepted the risks. But at the same time, I don't want my relationships with my friends to change. Faris is be like, I have you all to myself. I hold that desperate wish in my mind. Mayuri, Daru, and Kurisu should be in the lab like usual. Once I get there, Mayuri will greet me cheerfully, right? Well, this is assuming, like, I don't know if it's possible because he used the D-mail to go back, but at this point, if Okabe doesn't, like, have any of them on his phone, did they ever even meet up? Does the time machine even exist? Because Okabe was the one who got them all together. I climb the stairs to the second floor, praying that everything will be alright. And there I realized my prayers were for naught. The second floor is vacant. Oh shit. And he can't even go back. Yep. And of course, the time leap machine is nowhere to be found. Yeah, this is the worst. At least with the other ones, he was able to at least go back in time. So he's stuck. He's stuck.
メイクインはあるのか?
Still in a daze, I wander to the maid cafe in search of a familiar face. It feels like 10 years since I last saw that cat logo. I take a deep breath and open the door. And there's Mayuri!
ご主人様。
フェリス、マユリ、よかった。
I feel indescribable relief when I see the two girls standing there. They didn't disappear. They still work here, just as I remember.
ご主人様、違うよ。
Oh, yeah.
まゆしにゃんにゃんだよ。
They're not. How is that possible though? Like they were childhood friends. Yeah, I know they went back 10 years, but like they knew each other in elementary school, so I'd assume that. Oh, what? Mayuri smiles at me and strikes a cat-like pose.
あなたはフェリスちゃんのデュエルパートナーだよね。
Maybe I got away. Maybe Mayuri and I grew apart, and I became close with Faris instead. She turns to Faris.
もしかしてフェリスちゃん、この人にマユシの本名教えちゃったの?
Oh no, this is something. Oh, so like that's assuming we never were friends in elementary school. What?
はにゃ、教えた記憶はないけどにゃ。でもマユシって名乗ってる時点でなんとなく想像はつくにゃ。あ、そっか。
This feeling. Something is very wrong.
今日ま。
Faris brings her mouth close to my ear.
来てくれてありがとにゃ。でもお客さんの前だから彼氏っぽい行動は慎んでほしいにゃ。
彼氏?
Did Faris send an email, the D-mail, so that I would be her boyfriend? Or did this just happen naturally?
バカ、言っちゃダメにゃ。バイト終わったら思いっきり甘えてあげるから、それまで辛抱するのにゃ。
お前は何を言っているんだ?
にゃにゃ。はあ、そういうことかにゃ。最初からちゃんと心得てたっていうことかにゃ。さすが。もう、フェリスちゃん、お店でイチャイチャしちゃダメだよ。にゃはは、何言ってるにゃ、まゆし。そんなことしてないにゃ。
それよりマユリ、ダルとクリスを知らないか?
Yep. Mayuri tilts her head with a confused expression.
ダル？クリス？誰かな?
The coldness in the pit of my stomach returns. There's something odd about how Mayuri and Faris are acting. Does this mean my relationship with them has changed as well?
ラボはどこにある?
ラボ法?
What the hell? Faris grabs me by the ear.
何をする?
ちょまあ、一体どういうことにゃ。もしかしてマユシーとラブホに行く約束でもしてるのかにゃ。未成年にそんないかがわしいことしようなんて、今日まってずいぶん変態だったのにゃ。
ラブホじゃない、ラボだ。勘違いするなバカ者。
ラボって何や。
ラボはつまり未来ガジェット研究所といって、なあマユリ、知ってるだろ。未来ガジェット研究所だ。
マユシーはわからないのです。ごめんね。
She doesn't remember. It can't be.
そもそもさっきからなんでそんなにマユシーばっかに話しかけてるのにゃ。彼女がいる目の前でナンパしてるのかにゃ。
Girlfriend? Ferris? Whose? Mine?
そういうことするご主人様にはお帰り願ってるにゃ。どうするにゃ。
ああ、すまない。
I apologize and ask to be seated. And inside, I find Daru sitting at a table for two. He's fidgeting for some reason. Oh, I'm like his arch nemesis because he knows. Why is he staring at me like that?
ダル、ここにいたのか。
I sit in front of Daru and let out a sigh of relief. I drink my water in one gulp. I was really thirsty. Daru doesn't try to hide his displeasure.
君さ、フェイリスタンのなんなん？
何？
どっかで見たことある顔なんだよな。どこだっけ。まあそんなことどうでもよくて、とにかく君ってフェイリスタンになれなれしくね。調子に乗ってね。リア充か？リア充なんか？
Alright, people who find happiness and fulfillment in the real world. Normies. Markers of normalcy include having a girlfriend or boyfriend, participating in club or school activities, going to parties, vacationing overseas, and displaying a lack of interest in 2D anime entertainment.
おいダル、一体何を。
I shut up as soon as I start talking. Given how Mayuri and Faris are acting, it's entirely possible that my relationship with Daru has changed too. Better make sure.
俺とお前は初対面か。
当たり前じゃん。君この店来るの初めてでしょ。常連の僕はいつも他の客の顔もチェックしてるんで。
いや、結構来る方だと思うが。
この味は嘘をついている味だぜ。
舐めてもいないくせになぜわかる。
What?
つうか質問に答えろよ。君フェイリスタンのなんなん？
俺は
もっと具体的に聞くべき？じゃあ質問その1。名を名乗りたまえよ。
Why do I have to be cross-examined by Daru? It's unpleasant, but I also don't want to anger him anymore, so I'll answer honestly. The question is which name to use.
法院今日も。
マジで？
Daru suddenly bends forward. I guess I'm not a normie after all, eh? His attitude changes completely at this. He grabs my hand, suddenly happy to see me.
ああ、そっかそっか。そうだそうっすよ。確かにどっかで見たことあると思った。フェイリスタンのデュエルパートナーの法院氏だ。いや、うっかりしてた。あえて光栄です。僕フェイリスタンと法院氏のファンなんですよ。この前の準決勝も見てました。
He shakes my hand forcefully. His hand is all sweaty.
おいダル。
ダル？なんで僕のあだ名知ってるんですか？
いや。
The pieces are starting to fall into place. The lab is gone. Mayuri and Daru don't know me. We haven't met. We're not friends. We're nothing.
そうか。
These just get more and more upsetting, each of these, like, alternative endings. All the time we spent together is gone. Every moment, every memory. Is this the price I have to pay? Is this my destiny to live in a world where even my best friends don't know me?
いやー、明日はいよいよ決勝戦ですよね。バイラルアタッカーズなんかボコボコにしちゃってくださいよ。
決勝戦？
Viral attackers. That means it's about Rainet access battlers. Am I participating as Ferris's partner? But I thought the finals finished yesterday. So on this world line is tomorrow? Am I gonna see these two tag team in a Rainet battle? That'd be amazing. I'll ask Faris later. For some reason it looks like I'm her partner and her boyfriend. But I can deal with that later. Right now, there's one more thing I need to know.
なあ、お前はマキセ・クリスって知っているか？
ああ、そうそう。確か論文がすごい学術誌に載ったとかいう天才少女でしたっけ？
会ったことは？
前に ATF で講義をしたんですよ。それは聞きに行きました。かなり可愛かったですよ。で、その人が何か？
いや、別に。
It was obvious. If the lab doesn't exist, then how could I have met Kurisu? I go limp in my chair. What about the bet I made? The bet to save Mayuri? Did I win or lose? I should know that by tonight. If things go as scheduled, Mayuri will die. Was it right to change the world line? And is Ferris's father still alive? If we saved both of them, then I can accept the loss of my friends as the price. Well, the fact everything is Moe makes me think maybe that didn't happen. I have no other choice.
Papa?
Ferris stops drinking her ice milk tea and looks at me with furrowed eyebrows.
パパは今日もお仕事に行った
Okay,
の。
so he's alive.
それ
So,
がどうしたんだにゃ？
well, if Ferris, not Ferris, sorry, if Mayuri survives, then I guess he could be like, I can live with this even if we're not friends.
お前のパパは生きているんだな。
失礼だにゃ。パパを勝手に殺さないでほしいにゃ。今日の今日まはなんだか変にゃ。どうしたのかにゃ。
いや、
I see. Ferris's dad is still alive. Thank goodness. Now all that remains is to learn Mayuri's fate, and the shitty thing is if she dies, that's it. There's no time machine to go back. Will she die, or will she live? The answer will determine if all of this has been worth it.
で、俺とお前は恋人同士というのは間違いないのか？
Ferris's face freezes. Her lips start to tremble.
もしかして今日もフェイリスとのことは遊びだったのかにゃ。ひどいにゃ。純情な17歳の乙女をたぶらかすなんて。
な、
I see that Ferris is as melodramatic as ever. Smiling wryly, I slump down in my chair and look up at the sky. I feel an emptiness filling my heart. So that's how it is. The world line has changed, and the only one out of place is me. I feel so alone. My friends don't know me anymore. Mayuri isn't even my childhood friend.
どこにも行かせないぞ。
Yeah, I guess, now that I think about it, if he went back 10 years, he's what, 18, 19? So that makes sense that this is about the time when, you know, Mayuri and him were in elementary school, so I guess it would make sense. Something happened and they never became friends.
連れてなんて行かせない。
That didn't happen in this timeline. Mayuri is no longer my hostage. I was willing to do anything to save her, even sacrifice the time Suzuha spent with us. And yet, no, think positive. Now that Mayuri's a stranger, there's no reason for her to die. Well, because, yeah, they never made the time machine, so the Rounders wouldn't even be after them. Just think of it this way. I sacrificed our memories in order to save Mayuri. That does little to alleviate the sadness.
今日な、何中二病なオーラを出してるにゃ。今は二人の大事な話をしてるのにゃ。
なあ、フェイリス。今の俺は記憶喪失みたいなものだ。
It's not a lie. I have no memories of this world line.
さすが世界を股にかけるマッドサイエンティストにゃ。機関に狙われて頭に大怪我を負ってついに記憶を失ってしまったわけにゃ。実は京馬は盗まれた核兵器の居場所を知ってるから、機関はその記憶を取り戻させようと必死なわけにゃ。
You know, in a weird way, Faris makes almost the most sense as being his girlfriend just because they're so strange that they seem to go well together.
今日も
Ferris frowns, then leans forward and stares straight into my eyes. Is she trying to use her power, Cheshire break was it, to see into my mind?
そんな今日も
Ferris quickly turns pale.
本当に
あ
だから今日の今日もは変だったのにゃ。大変にゃ。いつから何が原因で
世界線を移動してきたせいと言ってもわからないだろうな。俺はいわば時空の漂流者なんだ。
ふざけてる場合じゃないにゃ。今はシリアスなシーンなのにゃ。心配してるんだから真面目に答えるのにゃ。
俺は一言も嘘は言っていない。お前ならわかるだろう。
そうにゃけど。
なあ、詳しく聞かせてくれ。俺とお前の関係については特に詳しく。
本当に覚えてないのかにゃ。
Ferris is moved to tears. Then she firmly clasped my hand.
フェイリスとキョーマはライネットの大会で知り合ったにゃ。秋葉の小さなショップでやっていた大会だったけど、死闘を繰り広げて心を通じ合わせたのにゃ。
I played Rainet?
そこで意気投合してフェイリスとキョーマはコンビを組むことになったのにゃ。フェイリスたちの息はぴったりで、グラちゃんでもほとんど負けずに決勝まで勝ち進んだのにゃ。
Then Ferris starts fidgeting. She blushes a little and looks at me sidelong.
それで一緒に戦っていくうちにフェイリスはキョーマのことをもっと知りたいって思っていつも目で追うようになってて。そうにゃ。フェイリスはキョーマのこと好きになってたのにゃ。このままずっとライネットだけじゃなくてプライベートでもパートナーとして一緒にいてほしいって思うようになってたのにゃ。だからこの前の準決勝に勝った後思い切って告白したのにゃ。そしたらキョーマも好きだって言ってくれて、フェイリスたちは甘いキスを交わして晴れて恋人になったのにゃ。
A sweet kiss? Does that make me a normal? The worst fate of all. Was I really that good with women?
ちなみにフェイリスとキョーマは同棲中にゃ。
He's like, maybe this isn't such a bad timeline after all. He's, like I said, he lives in a sweet-ass apartment, I imagine, with a girl who's worth millions, if not billions of dollars. And the thing about Mayuri, like, she'll survive, and he can become friends with Mayuri. Maybe Daru, although if Daru finds out that we're dating, he'll probably want nothing to do with me.
何
Unfortunately, Kurisu, I guess, like, we'll never cross paths. But this isn't that bad. Definitely not compared to the last timeline where he, like, went insane. Living together already when we only just started going out? You really are a filthy normal, current world line me. Ferris answers with a wry smile.
と言ってもライネットのパートナーとして夏休み中は合宿みたいな感じでキョーマをフェイリスの家に泊めてあげてるだけなのにゃ。だからそのエッチなこととかはしてないのにゃ。って何言わせるのにゃ。
She flails her arms and legs. Oh, if it's at Ferris's place with her parents and the butler there, of course nothing naughty would happen.
キョーマ今の話で何か思い出したかにゃ。
I shake my head. It's fundamentally impossible for me to remember the events of this world line. I didn't forget those memories. I never had them in the first place.
フェイリス、頼みがある。
何かにゃ。キョーマが記憶を取り戻すためなら何でも聞くにゃ。
いや、記憶のこととは違うんだが、マユリのことだ。
マユシそういえばさっきもお店でやたらと声をかけてたにゃ。
あいつはもしかすると今日の夜午後8時ぐらいに 何らかの形で死ぬかもしれない。だからあいつを見ていてくれないか。
死ぬってどういう。今度こそ冗談にゃ。
I gaze straight into Ferris's eyes.
嘘はついていない。死ぬか死なないか、可能性は五分だ。お前は何もしなくていい。見ているだけでいい。結果を俺に報告してほしい。頼めるか。
何が何だかさっぱりなのにゃ。でも
Ferris clasped my hand again. Tightly, very tightly. I can feel her warmth emanating through her palms.
フェイリスは京馬のこと好きだから、大好きだから信じるにゃ。京馬のこと。
ありがとう。
Oh man, if she doesn't die, this one won't be so bad. Ferris is the only one I can rely on now. I keep staring at the clock on the wall. I was told to wait at Ferris's place, so I've been sitting here for 2 hours. I haven't heard from her since she told me she was going to karaoke with Mayuri. Several hours have passed since Mayuri's scheduled time of death. Faris hasn't contacted me yet, which I guess means that nothing's happened, but I wish I could know for sure. If Mayuri were to die now, it would mean that I have failed utterly. I have no way to return to my original world line. I have no way to change the past again. The lab doesn't exist, and neither does the phone wave, named subject to change. I can't even send a D-mail, to say nothing of leap through time.
おや、岡部君。
Ferris's parents make an appearance. Oh, the mom too. Like, there was no mention of the mom at all. So did something happen? I don't know if that was mentioned at all. Like, if Ferris's mom was still alive, but there was like no mention of her as far as I know. They smile when they see me. Come to think of it. Oh, yeah. This is the first time I've met Ferris's mom. She seems like an elegant lady.
ルミホはバイトかな？
あ、いえ。友人と遊びに行っているとか。
Ferris's dad is alive. The interesting thing about this is, like, despite the fact he's alive, that there was still all the moe and anime stuff, so I'm wondering what changed there. At the very least, I didn't have to kill this man.
そうか。高校生なのにこんな時間まで遊び歩いているとはいかんな。岡部君からも注意しておいてくれないか。
わかりました。
いつも娘が世話を焼かせてすまないね。これからも娘のことをよろしく頼むよ。私はね、君のことを買っているんだ。
ありがとうございます。
I can't believe I've done anything to warrant that sort of praise.
悪いんだが、私と家内はこれから仕事で海外に飛ばなくてはいけなくてね。
Uh-oh. Flying. Uh-oh. Is he still gonna die in this timeline? Maybe just later? At this hour?
執事の黒木は残っているから何かあったら彼に。では、行ってくるよ。
お気をつけて。
Once the parents leave, I drop onto the sofa relieved. He's a really nice guy. I'm glad I was able to save his life, if nothing else.
ただいまにゃー。
Faris returns right after her parents leave.
楽しかった。
フェイリス、どうして連絡をくれなかったんだ。マユリはどうなった？
There's concern in my voice, though I can tell from her expression that everything is okay. I won the bet.
マユシーは死んだりしなかったにゃ。2時間ぐらい2人でアニソンを歌いまくって、わざわざ池袋までフェイリスは送っていったのにゃ。まるでマユシーをエスコートする紳士みたいだったにゃ。そんなフェイリスにマユシーは感激しまくりでユリフラグ立ちそうな勢いだったにゃ。にゃはは。
そうか。
Mayuri is still alive. So is Faris's dad. I have lost much, but as long as they're safe, I can accept my fate. I don't know what will happen to Suzuha's dream for the future, but there's nothing I can do about that now. Everything is fine. This world line is my home now. I'm going to make a life here. I'm just waiting for something shitty to happen, like right at the end, like right as everything seems to be like somewhat okay. I no longer have the lab or my friends, but I do have Faris. I'm not alone. I'm so relieved to have finally achieved my goals that my body's fatigue catches up with me all at once. I slide down on the sofa and close my eyes.
今日も寝ちゃうのかにゃ。
ああ。 少し休ませてくれ。少しだけ。
I'm waiting for something to happen to her parents. Once again, why has she never mentioned her mother at all? I have plenty of time to think about the future. After all, I have nothing left to fear.
さて、次のターンどうするかにゃ。
ちょっと早いが、ターミナルカードを使って形勢逆転すべきか。いや、だがそれこそが罠のような気も。
どうするかは今日の次第にゃ。
待て、ちょっと待て。この程度の危機、俺の灰色の脳細胞にかかれば。
But no matter how hard I try, I simply can't visualize Faris's piece placement. I'm still a newbie at this game. I barely know the rules. The finals are tomorrow. Today, actually. There's no way I can defeat the viral attackers like this. Oh, that sucks. He didn't even, like, retain his... Well, I guess it makes sense if he doesn't remember anything else. He wouldn't... I was thinking maybe he'd have at least some innate memory of, like, how to play, but I guess not. But since I'm Faris's partner, I have no choice but to participate. That's why we've been training all night.
よし、せっかくだから俺はこのウイルスチェッカーを選ぶぜ。
We know she can totally handle herself if anything. Like, she doesn't need me to win.
そうきたのかにゃ。でもフェイリスは二重三重の策を打ってあるにゃ。
なんだと。
これで京馬側のサーバーは丸裸にゃ。ターミナルカードを使ってじわじわ攻め落としていくにゃ。
This game is only about 10% luck. The rest depends entirely upon the Rainetter's strategy and ability. And Faris has the power to read people's minds, or emotions at least, so it's easy for her to see through my plays. Her power is truly overwhelming. She tears apart my carefully thought out plan, defeating me easily.
また負けた。これで19戦19敗とはマッドサイエンティストの名折れだ。
I was able to learn the rules with these 19 matches, but I'm still nowhere near tournament level as a player. Was I really on the same caliber as Faris on this world line? I suddenly see a frown spread upon Faris's face.
京馬、ライネットの戦い方、本当に忘れちゃったんだにゃ。今まで京馬が記憶喪失だにゃんて、あんまり実感が湧かなかったんだけど。 ここまで下手っぴになってるにゃんて。
Well, excuse me for being poopy.
京馬はフェイリスのこともほとんど忘れちゃったのかにゃ。
まあ、ほとんどといえばほとんどだな。少なくとも恋人になった記憶は全くない。
にゃ
Faris grows more and more downhearted. Now she's on the verge of tears.
じゃあ今の京馬はフェイリスのことなんてちっとも好きでいてくれてないわけにゃ。こうなったら
Faris suddenly stands up with both fists clenched.
体で思い出させてあげるにゃ。
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Faris approaches with bloodshot eyes, her fingers wiggling lasciviously.
お前まさか俺を襲う気か。
それもありにゃ。初めてだから優しくしてほしいにゃ。
落ち着け。初めてならば体は思い出しようがないだろうが。
京馬にゃ
Suddenly, Faris gets on all fours. Uh-oh. She raises her back a little, exactly like a cat, ready to pounce.
パパもママもお仕事で海外に行っちゃったにゃ。黒木ももう帰っちゃったにゃ。つまりこの広い家に今はフェイリスと京馬の二人きりなのにゃ。
She approaches slowly.
どうするにゃ。記憶がなくても生前食わぬは男の恥にゃ。
お前が言うな猫娘。
I don't know what I should do in a situation like this. I can't think clearly.
京馬にゃーにゃー京馬京馬
Finally, Faris blasts off. If I dodge, Faris is sure to fall flat on her face. That's how fast she's going. So to prevent that, I catch her in my arms. Ah, here's where I lose my virginity. Farewell, virginity. I would have preferred to give it away rather than have it taken by force, but oh well. All I can do now is prepare myself. Oh, you gross normie. Suddenly, Faris falls silent.
フェイリス
When I look down, she's pressing her face against my chest, muffling her sobs. Man, they really do like heel turns on the, on how, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like the tone of this game?
思い出が消えるのってとっても切ないのにゃ。自分の知ってる人が知ってる人じゃなくなっちゃって、自分だけが思い出が消える前のことを引きずってて、その思い出を押し付けることもできなくて、こんな中途半端に覚えてるならいっそ綺麗さっぱりフェイリスの思い出も消してもらいたいくらいにゃ。
Ferris's words hit me like a blow. I feel exactly the same way. The Faris I knew is gone forever. So are Mayuri, Daru, and Kurisu. This world line closely resembles mine. Nothing is missing, but everything has changed. My memories seem real, and I know that they are. But with no one else to share them, they might as well be a dream. I'm all alone in this world. Alienated, isolated. My friends will never remember me. The events in my memories never happened.
だがそれは
I gently embrace Ferris's small head.
俺自身が選んだことだから。
選んだ。
ああ
The path I chose so that neither Mayuri nor Ferris's dad would die. I won the bet, so in return I have to live with this loneliness, this isolation. Nothing is free. Everything has a price. I sacrificed Suzuha's memories to save Mayuri. That's what Suzuha wanted. It's only fair I give up something myself. So I'm okay with this. Because objectively speaking, I reached my goal. I'm okay. I'm glad I have you, Faris. I want you to know that. Mayuri and Daru are strangers now. Kurisu has probably returned to America. Without Faris, without her affection, I don't know what I would have done. I don't remember falling in love. But I'm glad that we did. Hyoma. Faris lifts her face. You're the only person who knows me here, Faris. As long as we're together, everything will be fine. I hope you'll stay with me, even now.
記憶はきっと取り戻せないが、これからもう一度フェイリスのことを好きになっていきたい。
I gotta say, this Kyoma and this world line pretty smooth. That's pretty sweet lines he's throwing down.
今日のフェイリスの猫耳外してほしいにゃ。
Cat ears? Oh, I see. Back to Rumiho mode. I gently take the cat ear headband off of Ferris's head. Her long hair falls down and dangles onto my face. I comb through her hair with my fingers, and Ferris's eyes smile as if soothed by my touch. She really is like a cat.
ねえ、ルミホって呼んで。
This is the second time she's asked me that. I was too self-conscious to say it the first time, but now,
ルミホ
ignoring my inner shyness, I say her name. Our faces draw close.
キスしてくれる？
With difficulty, we exchange a kiss, like hummingbirds pecking at nectar. Then Faris slowly smiles. Her smile, her lingering tears, her everything is awfully cute.
あなたはね、私の王子様なんだよ。
This is the second time she's told me that. I endure the tingling in my body.
これからも 私はあなたを好きでいていいんだよね。
あ
よかった。
I can no longer return to my original world line. I don't intend to either, because I saved both Mayuri and Ferris's dad. I'll keep living on this world line, and Ferris will be by my side. Oh, we're doing the tournament. I thought it was going to end there.
ライネットアクセスバトラーズグランドチャンピオンの座を決める決勝戦を開始します。
I hear cheers. The finals are about to begin. Of course, our opponents are the viral attackers. On the previous world line, Ferris's victory turned into a desperate chase through Akiba. But that's another thing that will never happen, or that never happened. Normally, I would have refused to stand here. Since I didn't get my memories back, I could have stepped down and the cheerful cat girl would have probably accepted, and then proceeded to fight alone. But still, I'm standing here, even though I'm aware I'm a burden.
今日ね、本当に大丈夫なのかにゃ？
Faris turns to me anxiously, one last time. I answer her with a firm nod.
俺はここで生きていくと決めた。
The story of Hoyen Kiyoma of Okabe Rentaro begins here anew. The first line on a blank page. I discard my feelings for the world line that never happened. I lock those memories deep in my heart. In order to live here from now on, I will become this world line's Okabe Rentaro.
それにバイラルアタッカーズは勝っても負けても面倒な相手だ。奴らからお前を守らないとな。
Ferris's dad won't come in his limousine to save us this time. I'm the only one who can protect Faris now.
今日ま嬉しいにゃ。
Faris turns to me deeply moved and holds out her hand.
一緒に。
So far they've all ended with him holding hands with the girls.
ああ、一緒だ。
Ferris's hand, my only connection to this world line. I gently take hold of it and squeeze. And that's what happened last time with Suzuha. Okay, so that will wrap up Ferris's ending. I'm not sure how many more I have to do. I like that one. It was definitely melancholy. You know, it sucked that he lost his friendships with everybody, especially Mayuri, but at least he had Faris and he's on a similar world line. He's not going to something completely unknown like he was with Suzuha, where it was very open-ended. But I am excited to go back and see what happens if we do, actually kill off Faris's dad and see where the story takes us from there. So I hope you enjoy this episode and be sure to stay tuned for the next one. Until next time, bye guys. Special shout out to my top tier patrons: Namara Kito, Sparky, Icognito, Simon Rax, Mad Goldsmith, Harry Gazif, and Asborn Kennedy.